What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be going over the barrels that I tested on live stream a couple days ago. I got all the stats for all the barrels for the FFAR, Groza, MAC-10, Bullfrog, M16, and Cold War AUG. So I'm going to be going over all those stats pretty quickly in the video today. They're all live on the website, but we still don't have strafe speed and sprint speed up on the website. The data is there, but we just haven't displayed it yet because I don't have the default values for all the guns, so we can't quite display it yet, but that'll be coming very soon. But besides those two stats, all of this is on the website now, so you can check it out. I still don't know why that 404 error is happening for some people. We're going to be switching hosting services pretty soon, hopefully to fix that, because our hosting provider doesn't know what's causing it, and we're not doing anything that's causing it on our end. So yeah, we're not sure what's going on there, but hopefully that'll be fixed soon when we switch over to a new host. But yeah, let's jump into it, and I will show you guys all the data. All right, so this video is going to be pretty short because I'm just quickly going to go over all the data that I've collected. But as always, this took forever to actually gather. Like I said, I did it on stream. I stream all the time at twitch.tv/TrueGameData live. If you want to watch, I'm going to start streaming testing a lot more often, actually, because it went really well. Had a good time doing that. But it took me like 7 or 8 hours to collect this data. So even though it's a really short video, if you would consider dropping a like, dropping a comment, and subscribing, that would be appreciated. Obviously, it helps support me, helps support the website, so consider that. But let's jump into it. So starting with the FFAR, the ultralight used to increase range by a bunch, and they've fixed that now. So now it increases bullet velocity by 16%, strafe speed by 5%. Cavalry, I didn't get the vehicle damage numbers yet, but I did check range and bullet velocity, and it does not help either of those anymore like it used to. Reinforced heavy, 19% increase in range, 12% increase in bullet velocity, 4% decrease in sprint speed, and 23% decrease in ADS movement speed. Ranger barrel has the highest bullet velocity increase, 51%, and also has roughly the same ADS movement speed penalty, so about 23-24% reduction in your ADS movement speed, which is pretty significant. I would say if you want to run the FFAR as an SMG, not to use either one of these barrels because of the ADS movement speed penalty. It's a pretty significant slowdown there. Takedown barrel has an increase of range of 33% now, and reduces your sprint speed by 4%. So that's a pretty good barrel, really, for like a sniper complement or something. Pretty good barrel. And then the task force barrel has an 11% increase in range, a 6% increase in strafe speed, and a 15% increase in vertical recoil. I thought there was a bullet velocity increase too. It should be on the site. I don't know why it's not here, but yeah, so I think Task Force is the barrel to use if you're going to run it as an SMG. I actually just don't use a barrel on my FFAR right now for the SMG build, but if you were going to use a barrel, I think you'd want to use the Task Force just for mobility reasons. And then on to the Groza. For the Groza, first comment on this, they have fixed the mil-spec barrel at this point, so it does have a damage drop-off now. So the first damage drop-off is at 23 meters, which is like a 28% reduction in range, but it still does increase your damage. So you still get all the damage information from my prior videos still true. The barrel is corrected on the website, so you can go plot this if you want to see the TTKs after the drop-off. But back to the ultralight. Ultralight increased strafe speed by 5% on the Groza. That's the only thing it did. Reinforced heavy increased range by 25%, bullet velocity by 27%, sprint speed was reduced by 3% with reinforced heavy, and ADS movement speed was reduced by 24%. So pretty significant reduction again in mobility using the reinforced heavy, but it does give the best combination of bullet velocity and range. And then we get the GRU composite, which is 9% increase in range, 15% increase in bullet velocity with no penalties. So that's a good barrel there. Contour. So the Contour barrel reduces your range by 9% for that first damage drop off, but increases your strafe speed by 10%. So this is a good barrel for an SMG build. And then again, the mil-spec barrel on the Groza. I already went over this, but big reduction in range, but it does increase that damage, makes it a little more forgiving for hitting those chest shots. And it does increase your strafe speed, but it also, even though it doesn't list it, it increases your vertical recoil by about 20%. So it's pretty penalizing. It's kind of a trade-off. I think Contour and mil-spec are both really good for SMG builds. And then if you're going to try to use the Groza at range, reinforced heavy might be the way to go, even though it has poor mobility, if you're using it at range, then it's not really that big of a deal to have bad mobility, and it gives the best boost to range and bullet velocity. All right, on to the M16 and the AUG. Not a lot to talk about here. Nothing's really changed from any time recently that we've discussed M16 and AUG, and that barrels don't do that much for them because they don't have damage drop-offs. So for the M16, rapid fire, strike team, titanium all increase your fire rate by the same amount. So the barrel to use on the M16 is just the strike team still. It gives you that fire rate boost, gives you a bullet velocity boost, and actually gives you an ADS movement speed boost. So there's really no reason to use anything else right now. There's no way to get more bullet velocity, unfortunately. If you could get more bullet velocity than this, the M16 is already ridiculously good. You can get up to like 950 meters per second with an agency suppressor and strike team barrel. But if you could get up to like 1100 or 1200, like when it first came out, it's even more ridiculously good. So it's fine with I'm fine with where it is. I wish they would balance it more with damage rather than lower bullet velocity. And it's not balanced right now, don't get me wrong. It's still too good right now, but yeah, that's one of the ways they're trying to balance it, I think. Match grade barrel, reduce sprint speed by 5%. Task force, increase bullet velocity by 23% as well, so there's no extra boost for the task force, even though it hurts your recoil. I didn't test the recoil, that's something that I'll have to do later. But right now I just didn't see any reason to, because the strike team gives better bonuses anyway without any penalties, so I didn't see any reason to test that, so that's why I skipped it. And then down on the AUG, the numbers are a little bit different. So on the AUG, you still want to use the strike team, which is what we've been saying forever. It just has the biggest bullet velocity increase, also increases your fire rate. Although on the AUG, the titanium does increase your fire rate by a little bit more than the strike team. It's still worth using the strike team because it's like I don't know, like a 3% difference in TTK or something like that for a huge increase in bullet velocity and a boost in ADS movement speed. So basically, M16 AUG, same story as the last month or whatever, where you just want to use the strike team barrel. All right, let's talk about the SMG barrels real fast. So I tested MAC-10 and Bullfrog, like I said. First barrel, these the ultralight, which just says it helps bullet velocity. I somehow skipped this when I was testing on stream, so I'll get that up on the website very soon. Very soon, TM, as always. But it has no penalties, so it's just an increase in bullet velocity. Cavalry Lancer does vehicle damage again. Like I said, I haven't checked into that yet. I know they work now. They actually do increase vehicle damage, but I don't have any numbers for that yet. And then Reinforced Heavy, 10% increase in range, 61% increase in bullet velocity, 4% decrease in sprint speed, and 21% decrease in ADS movement speed. So while these two numbers are great, as an SMG, you really don't want these two. You don't want to slow down your mobility that much. So I would avoid using the Reinforced Heavy on SMGs, even though the range and bullet velocity are very nice. Ranger gives a really nice boost to bullet velocity as well, 61%, just like the Reinforced Heavy. But it does hurt your ADS movement even more than the Reinforced Heavy. So it's down at like 25-26% decrease in your ADS movement speed, which is very penalizing. Then we have the Takedown Barrel, which had a very, very small increase to range on the MAC-10. The range values are actually somewhat unique on the SMGs, which I was not expecting. In the past, they matched up almost perfectly between all the Cold War SMGs, so I think in this most recent patch, they kind of tweaked them and made them a little bit unique. So we're going to have to wait to see what all the numbers are once I get them all tested. But for now, we have the Bullfrog and the MAC, and they should all be relatively similar to this. Like, it gives you a good idea, and all the other numbers were very similar. So like the strafe speed and the sprint speed, ADS movement speed, vert recoil, all those were very consistent between the MAC-10 and the Bullfrog, so those might still be the same. But the range values and the bullet velocity values seem to be somewhat unique. So I'll be getting all that out here ASAP. And like I said, I'm going to start testing on stream all the time because I actually had a really good time doing that. Helps keep me focused, actually, and helps keep me motivated. So if you guys are interested in that, you can check out the Twitch. It's TrueGameData Live. But now we gotta do the Task Force Barrel. So Task Force Barrel gets a 10% increase in range and a good 57% increase in bullet velocity, as well as a 6% increase in strafe speed. But it does increase your vertical recoil by about 15%. But because it's an SMG, I think the Task Force is pretty much the way to go right now. Either the Ultralight with just an increase to bullet velocity and no negatives, or the Task Force would be the two that I would recommend the most. Just because as an SMG, you don't want to hurt your mobility, and these other barrels all hurt mobility, sprint speed, ADS movement speed. It's just not worth doing that. And when you're in SMG range, usually recoil is not too much of a problem just because you're so close to your target that it doesn't matter if there's a little extra recoil. So I would say ultralight barrel, task force barrel, or no barrel would be the 3 options for SMGs currently. Then let's scroll down and check out the Bullfrog. Bullfrog is very similar to the MAC-10. The range values are slightly different. So the reinforced gave a 6% increase in range, rifled gave an 8%, task force gave 15%. So task force gives you the most range on the Bullfrog. But it gives you a little bit less bullet velocity, but still, the Bullfrog has great bullet velocity. It has like 520 meters per second base value for bullet velocity, and then these huge modifiers on the attachments. So bullet velocity is not really something you need to worry about on the Bullfrog. But it's the same story here. The numbers on the right are the same for sprint speed, ADS movement speed, and recoil. So I would say, again, same as what I said with the MAC-10, either no barrel, extended barrel for the increase in bullet velocity with no penalties. I think that's kind of a waste of an attachment slot, though, because you already have 500 meters per second bullet velocity with the Bullfrog, and you don't need to up that anymore because you're in SMG range, so that's plenty of bullet velocity when you're in SMG range. Or the task force barrel. So I think for the Bullfrog, because it already has, so the MAC-10 has a 350 meters per second base bullet velocity, and the Bullfrog has, like I said, like 520. So for the MAC-10, I think the extended barrel that just increases bullet velocity, or the ultralight, I guess in this case, that just increases bullet velocity would be an okay choice. Not super necessary to increase your bullet velocity, I don't think, even at 350. Bullfrog, I don't think you should use it. I think for the Bullfrog, you should either use task force or no barrel. I think those are the 2 best options. All right, well, now that you've listened to me talk for about 12 minutes, I think I've covered all the data I took while streaming the other day. Like I said, it was a lot of fun. I'm actually going to do that more often. So come check me out at twitch.tv/TrueGameData live. And I appreciate you guys as always, and I will see you in the next video.